Good morning. I wanted to go over the complex carbohydrates quick lab that we did in class. And if you were not in class, I'm sure you'll be able to follow along pretty easily. And so this is an important concept that I want you to have. So in the lab, we tested potatoes, cheese, rice, and noodles for complex carbohydrates. We put iodine on them, and if the iodine changed color, it showed us that there was in fact complex carbohydrates in the food. It was an indicator solution. And so our indicator solution, iodine, indicated to us that potatoes did have complex carbohydrates because it turned to a different color. Cheese did not have complex carbohydrates. Rice did have complex carbohydrates, and noodles had complex carbohydrates. So at that point, I had you guys go and watch the carbohydrates notes and answer these questions. Why did the food have complex carbohydrates in it? How did it get there? So let's talk a little bit about the potato. The potato had complex carbohydrates in it because the plant made glucose through photosynthesis. So the plant captured light energy from the sun, trapped it in the bonds of glucose, and it used some of that energy to fuel its plant cells and being a plant, but then it stored some of that energy for the long winter. So it took that glucose molecule and it linked it to other glucose molecules and it made a complex carbohydrate. And so when we eat a potato, we eat the starch that it made because it was trying to save that energy for the winter. The next food we looked at was rice. Rice did also change color when we put iodine on it. And so why does rice have complex carbohydrates in them? Well, that's because the rice plant, so rice is a plant, rice is a grain that comes from a plant, and so the plant is going to make a seed, and it's going to give all of the energy that it can to that seed. So that plant is going to go through photosynthesis. It's going to make glucose, trap the light energy from the sun into the bonds of glucose, and then it's going to, once again, make this, link all those glucose molecules together to make this complex carbohydrate. But this time, instead of storing it for itself, it's going to give it to its seed so that when the seed drops to the earth, it will be able to grow, or it has a better chance to survive because it'll have more energy. So it has this long-term energy. So rice is a type of seed, and when we eat it, it's just dried out. And so noodles also had complex carbohydrates. So why did the noodles have complex carbohydrates? Well, this is because noodles are made of flour, and flour is simply just ground up grains like rice. And so we grind up those grains like rice, and we make it into a powder. And from that powder, we make things like noodles. And so therefore, thinking about the law of conservation of matter, if there's carbohydrates in this rice and we grind it up, then there's still complex carbohydrates. And so we are putting those complex carbohydrates into noodles. So they are conserved. And so the noodle has complex carbohydrates because it is made up of flour, which is made up of ground up rice or ground up grains. Grains are seeds, just like rice. And if you notice, when we put the iodine on the paper towel also turned black. And that is because it is the other complex carbohydrate that we were talking about, fiber. Fiber makes up plant cell walls. And the paper towel is made up of paper, which comes from trees. And trees are made up of plant cells. And so they have fiber in their cell walls. And so therefore, when we put iodine onto those paper towels, it changed color because there was a complex carbohydrate present, fiber. I hope that this made everything very clear and that you have a great day.